Hello, everybody, and welcome to our latest episode of Star Wars Visions Reviews. It is Star Wars Visions, episode number 5, The Ninth Jedi. We are talking about this one, created by Production I.G, which is by far the most prolific studio working on this project. They've made so many things over the last 30 years of anime history and really some of the greatest anime films and shows of all time. So, definitely, this was definitely, I had high expectations for this, and it definitely didn't disappoint. Originally, it was listed as the last episode of the show, but it comes out at episode 5. I think it would have worked great as a finale because it is to me, the biggest of the episodes. It's a very complete story. The camera movement and the production quality on this is by far and away the highest. You can tell this had the most money put into it. It's made by seasoned veterans. It's made by people who make multiple shows every year and really have the resources to give this its all. Their all, I should say. And I love this episode as well. To have Village Bride and the Ninth Jedi back to back was really elevating this series for me. Where we started and we had some cool concept ideas, we had some ones that were fun but maybe not super storied in depth, and we had the duel, which is amazing visually. But getting these two back to back was like, this is what we can really dive into. And this was, for me, something that almost feels like a pilot for a series. Like, this is a great start to a really interesting side of the Star Wars world that could exist far into the future, and it's very plausible look at the future of Star Wars post Episode 9 if we ever want to go far into the future one day. It's just on another level. I love there was a certain concept in here that I absolutely loved, and that was the lightsaber color changing with the person who's holding it. And that's already in Star Wars, because the person who, when you find your kyber crystal as a Jedi, you find the color based on your personality. Each color represents a different thing about a different person. But in this episode, they use it very cool visual usage of that formula to explain different characters' choices. It works really well for the reveal that all the people gathered with our favorite Jedi, Ethan, uh, are all the people that are gathered there are actually Sith and not Jedi. That was a really cool reveal when they turn on all their lightsabers. It works really well because they set up this use of the color very well. It works for our main character, Kara, as she becomes a more competent Jedi. I mean, it is a fast, I guess, growth into not having any color really to her lightsaber, which I thought looked really cool, by the way, regardless. Kind of a transparent lightsaber to having her own green one. And then we see one of the characters who was fighting with the Sith. Eventually, his lightsaber turns from red to purple. That was a really cool concept to see. Like, oh, it's kind of the dark side's fading from him. He's turning a bit more back into the balanced area. Um, the blend of the two. There's a lot of really great concepts in here. The art, as always, is fantastic from this company, and yeah, I just really like this episode. Good use of the mythology, good branching on what actual Star or storytelling could be. There's nothing too insane or bombastic in this. It really could fit into Star Wars canon if we wanted it to, and I really appreciated what they went for in their attempts on building more on top of the larger narrative of Star Wars as an entire franchise, really.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to talk about this episode and not say um only positives, honestly. Like, I really can't find a criticism for this story or for this animation or anything. Um I'm trying to gather my thoughts here because there's just so much that was so good. I say the very first thing is like how it starts off, little exposition, a little intro, kind of classic sci-fi storytelling. And then you just see like this kyber crystal, and then bam, you just see like a hook just shot from nowhere, like attached to it and hook it back. And that was already like a sick design. And then you see that it's actually like from the ground and it's like fishing poles, and they're fishing for kyber crystals, which I mean blew my mind, honestly. And that's the thing that I really liked about it. It's just that they took so many things and they evolved them and gave a little new perspectives on things we already kind of knew but didn't really take time to consider. It felt very Star Wars Legacy to me in a way that Star Wars Legacy couldn't be, and I'll try to explain that. But like Star Wars Legacy were those Dark Horse comics set like years and years, 100 plus years after Luke's death and all that. And there's the Fell Empire, Imperial Knights. There's like the Galactic Alliance. The Jedi are kind of hiding and separated. Yuuzhan Vong are like kind of good, but they got tricked by the ones. It's like a whole mess of like different factions going on. And while that's great for that story and for the depth of that story, there was always the weight of like, oh, what about the Luke Skywalker ghost? Oh, what about what happened between the Second Galactic Civil War and the Fell Empire? Did Jagged Film marry Jaina Soul? There's just so much to it that even though it tried to be fresh and new, it couldn't be fresh and new. I mean, R2 is still a character in that, and this man is like this man's a freaking ancestor out here. He's like 140 years old or something at that point. But, as good as that was, the best thing about it was visually how the galaxy had changed, like, the new types of people who were players in the galaxy, the new different vehicles, just the way people dressed, they fought, all that, and I thought that's what the Ninth Jedi did really well. Obviously, there is still an influence, like, there's the Japanese swordsmith of sorts, but he's a lightsaber smith, but everything else was just different, like, there's that upside down floating aerial temple, which was really cool because we don't really see Jedi temples like that. And I really want to see another one like that. Um, there's the whole thing with like the whole twist was amazing, where it's like everyone's like, well, this guy could be like, he could actually be setting us up for a trap and all that. And truth, it's actually Ethan and this girl who were seduced in for this trap. The droid that's like, oh, we're waiting for a master and all that is actually just like a cockpit for this guy who's this old strange man who, but he's like sequel Luke in a way. He's like the way just the vibe and the look that he gave off to me. If sequel Luke was fighting, um, just God, there's so many things I can think of like that were really good. Like you said, the green lightsaber being translucent at first until she really connected with the crystal and made it her own. The one really bad thing is the Ethan thing, but I think it works for his character because I played it back in Japanese, and in Japanese it's Isan because they don't really see T's or R's as well as we do when they speak English. And it just you can say like Eason, that could be a name or something. It works, right? But when you hear an English voice just saying Ethan, and that's like literally his introduction, it's just really jarring. It works for the character. The character's really weird. He's kind of like those guys. He's like the person who says too many things, like TMI sort of guy, and you're just like, good to know, dog. Like it's fun. The fighting was great. I really like whatever happened with I think they were on a floor of Kyber, but like one of the acolytes gets pushed into the and falls onto the like this glowing thing, which looks like Kyber, and then he just burns up from it. I thought that was really cool. Like the purity was able to just destroy his body. Oh man, God, there's just so much to it. Like definitely, if you're not really into just anime, but you want like something that like, you want to try something out from Visions, this is the one to try out. This is by far the best. I can see why they maybe put it as the fifth because it's like the peak, climax, everything's there. But it would have been a great ender as well. I don't know. I don't understand the strategy there. I like the position as it is, but I think it'd been even better as a closing part. But yeah, besides that, fluid, colorful, beautiful, interesting, unique. I really wish I could say that I want this to be like a preview or like the first pilot of post episode 9 storytelling. And that's lovely and all, but I don't know if we're ready for it quite yet. I feel like we have to do a lot more in between 6 and 7 and things between 7, 8, 9 before we're ready to just jump way ahead. And I want to eventually, but we're also entering a world where KOTOR remake is coming out, and that could be a new big thing. We've already got the High Republic, which is a total new era. As much I want to explore all these new eras, we've already got established new eras and old eras kind of coming back into play. So maybe at one point, yes, I'd love to see an anime from Production I.G though, because they knocked it out of the park here. And for me personally, I think one of the things that really struck home to me was the old droid. She literally calls him old droid, and he looks like one of those like this funny weird robot from the 2004 film Robots. He looks exactly like him. He looks like this robot from Venture Brothers. Just that head shape is just some of the most funniest robots I've ever seen on screen. So yeah, I mean, great episode, must watch.
Yeah, absolutely must watch. It's so good. The music as well was fantastic in this one, more so than honestly any of the other ones. I remember reading when I was doing research for the video we posted on last Monday, the Visions preview. This was one that they were really talking a lot about having. They all have original scores, but this one was big and orchestral, and you really feel that. You feel the different music. There's a lot of audible callbacks to John Williams, but nothing that really copies direct Star Wars themes, which I think is a good thing because if you tie it too much audibly to the other nine movies, then it starts to feel a little bit more. You kind of expect more subconsciously without realizing a connection to the overall Star Wars universe. But this one had similar theme, like Kara had very similar themes to Ray, and like the way they made the music as well. I thought it was all fantastic, and it's definitely the most complete of all the episodes. It's a complete experience, and there is plenty of room for more storytelling here, as we said. But it is a great start to finish episode. There's a full arc, a full journey. We really see an evolution for character and characters. We see an evolution on the universe. Really fantastic stuff, and definitely one of the most must watch episodes of the entire show. So thanks guys so much for watching this review of the Ninth Jedi. As always, hit that like button down below, comment below, let us know what you thought of the Ninth Jedi or Star Wars Visions as a whole. Hit that subscribe button as well, notification bell, so you know whenever Star Wars Lads video comes out. We release videos 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll also be releasing Star Wars Lads reviews of every single episode of Star Wars Visions. So this was episode 5, The Ninth Jedi. We already have episodes 1 through 4 posted, and we'll have episodes 6 through 9 coming soon. So stay tuned for all of that and all the other content we have on this channel. It is going to be your number one source for Star Wars Visions stuff. So if you love Star Wars Visions and you love Star Wars in general, definitely subscribe down below. And we'll see you guys all next time for episode 6 TOB1 review.